Hello and welcome to the Eye on the U, the Miami Herald, Miami Hurricane Show. I'm David Wilson. I'm joined, as always, on the other line by Susan Miller Degnan, our Hurricanes beat writer here at the Herald. Susan, the Canes are back. Spring
Canes
practice
are Canes are
underway.
back. Yep,
You've been out there. We're recording this Thursday evening. You've been out there two of the last two times this week already.
both times. Yeah.
Have one more practice again Friday to round out this first week, right? Um, I haven't been out there, so I'm curious to hear. Obviously, I've been reading some of your stuff, and people should check out. There's been a lot from both you and Barry Jackson on MiamiHerald.com this week. A lot of different angles covered. Um, but this will be, I think, just a good chance to maybe touch on obviously some big topics and maybe sprinkle in some smaller ones here and there. We got to start with the quarterbacks though, because all eyes obviously are on Cam Ward in particular this preseason, but I think the entire quarterback room is interesting with, pretty much no one left from last year. Cam Ward, Reese Poppenbarger, Judd Anderson are kind of the three guys in the mix there. And I know the reports from the first couple of days have been really, really good about Cam Ward. What has impressed you most about his first couple of practices as a Hurricane?
Well, really accurate, great arm, but accurate. Very smooth. Um, Actually, we've been impressed with all the quarterbacks. Have looked good, including Ja'Cory Brown, who's the returning scholarship guy.
Hmm.
Well, so is we have to talk about Emory Williams too, who
Right, who's
shocked
hurt. So,
by showing up. Yeah, but he's been throwing at every
mhm.
practice. He's there. So but Cam Ward looks really good. He doesn't look particularly large. He doesn't look like a super big guy. I think they list him as 6'2", maybe, and 223. So he's probably like 6 foot and a half. That's me. I know I always say that, but it's
Yeah.
true. It's probably a little, probably six, maybe 6'1" then. I don't know. He doesn't look giant, but he's really good. Um, he throws it on a dime. I mean, he's like I said, very accurate. He makes it. I put in today's story or after yesterday, or I should say after um, Wednesday's practice.
Hmm.
The receivers look good because he makes them look good, kind of. Although um, on Wednesday we were seeing these one-on-one drills, kind of. It wasn't reality. I mean, it was a quarterback throwing, a DB going one-on-one against a receiver, and Cam Ward puts it on the money.
Yeah.
So I mean, Xavier Restrepo, oh my God, David, he looks good.
Yeah,
He
that's been the other big takeaway.
Oh
I've
my
seen some of
God,
the videos of some of the catches he's had in practice this week.
he
So,
looks good. Yeah, and then the other guys again, and Reese Poffenbarger, the guy from Albany,
mhm.
who's he's smaller than Cam Ward, but
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know if he's that much smaller. I guess I'm looking even at the pictures. I was noticing, he's good.
Yeah.
He has a really good arm. He has a very live arm. He's also accurate. Um, Really nice to see it. Like I said, Ja'Cory Brown, except for maybe one pass I saw, these guys are hitting their targets and throwing deep and nice and smooth. And then Emory Williams, I was like, what? We were kind of shocked to see him. Now his left arm was injured
Yeah.
at FSU. But I mean, I supposedly, well, I guess we'll find out more. It was a compound fracture of your left arm slash upper arm. He has it wrapped in gauze, or some kind of wrapping, his left arm from the elbow, to the shoulder. So um, to me, still, that he's taking the snaps or whatever, that he's taking the ball and throwing hard. I know it's his other arm, but
Hmm.
David, I don't think they're going to let him. I don't think there's no way they're going to
Yeah,
let him
even in
play in the
even
spring
though
game.
quarterbacks obviously can't get hit, like they're not gonna
No, but
get
I can't
bumped and
even
that kind of stuff, right?
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
even see him playing in the spring game. We'll
yeah. No
see.
way.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. I think and then the other kid that's really interesting is Judd Anderson,
Yeah.
true freshman who's an early enrollee. He is listed as 6'7". I think he might be 6'7". Okay, I think he might, or at least 6'6". Okay, he's
Yeah.
tall. Like he towers above the other guys. Um, So I don't know. They've all looked good, and the receivers, the JoJo Trader.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I do want to hit on a couple of the freshmen at some point as we move
Nyquil.
along here because
Okay,
there's a
go ahead.
couple who are
Nyquil.
impressive. Well, last one on the quarterback, you wrote your headline about Cam Ward was a generous teammate. What have you've obviously gotten to talk to a bunch of players the last couple of days. What have they been saying about him?
Well, they love him, of course, but they always love every
Yeah,
quarterback.
yeah. Well, that's
But
what I
they
mean because every quarterback comes in and tries to ingrain themselves somehow.
Yes,
What has he
yes.
been doing behind the
And this
scenes?
guy has a little more money
That's
to
true
keep
too.
him
Yeah.
happy. Okay. So Jalen Rivers told us. So Jalen Rivers, the left offensive tackle, told us on Monday that sometime this week, I bet you it's like Friday night or something, that
Uh,
sometime this week, Cam Ward is taking the offensive lineman out to dinner. It's one of those recurring themes, but I think he has a lot more money than some of the former quarterbacks.
that's
So,
yeah.
and it's really funny because he said, where
Yeah, when
he's
Tyler Van Dyke first took over as when he had to step in, he did not have a lot of spare cash lying around off
yeah,
NIL
exactly,
money. Yeah.
exactly. And
Even
then he
De'Aaron King, first year, that was before NIL, yeah.
right, and then he said, so Jalen said, he said it's going to be a big bill, but he has the money or whatever. He has it. He's fine. He'll be able to do it.
Uh-huh.
And I think he's also taken out the skill players. They said that he invited all these skill players to his house for the Super Bowl. They all watched the Super Bowl. Um, they all like him. He's a personable, nice guy. And he's smart, and he knows what he has to do. He's like a lead. He is he's got to be a leader type, and he's making sure he gets to know the offense, the offense and defense, I should say. Um, they they're very happy about him. They think he's funny, he's nice, the whole bit. They're into Cam Ward.
Hmm.
And why shouldn't they be? I mean, they're feeling very good about it. They didn't, and they like, and Reese Poffenbarger also.
Yeah.
But they know that. Here's the thing about Cam Ward. I've never seen, like, the guy is a transfer, and he's got the spot. He's number one, David. Mario Cristobal has never given anybody number one. This is Mario's third season,
Hmm.
and no one's more number one because you have to earn it. Okay. Well, he said Cam Ward pretty much already earned it, with what he's done since he's transferred and the blah blah blah. And Mauanoa, the linebacker, okay, Kiko
Yeah.
Mauanoa, um, he changed his number from 51 to 1. Um, and Mario said he already earned it. I mean, and
Yeah.
darn right, the guy is fantastic last year.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the quarterbacks are good. Cam Ward is very popular at this second, um, and we even had a, and I know we're going to talk about Restrepo, but it was very funny because he talked about Tyler. Somebody asked him about. I'm looking at this now about Tyler Van Dyke. Somebody asked Restrepo about his quote unquote best friend. They didn't say Tyler Van Dyke. They said your
Uh-huh.
best friend left. How are you going to work through that? How's it been? And the next guy coming in, like, how easy has it been to embrace him? And Restrepo really started laughing. He's usually very serious. He started
Uh-huh.
laughing and said, I mean, he's not my girlfriend or anything. Said about Tyler, and he
Uh-huh.
said, and then he said, I'm not crying about it, but definitely he's my guy. I wish him the best of luck, and he's going to do a great job at Wisconsin.
Hmm.
So that was kind of interesting
Yeah.
that
Um,
that got mentioned.
let's quickly hit on Restrepo. I don't know if there's like a lot to say about him other than because he's just been good. There's not like he was great, all last year he was great. Um, Decided to come back. We thought that was, kind of a little bit of a toss up as to whether he would maybe
Uh-huh.
head for the pros. Um, Obviously coming back, the goal, the expectation, the hope is he can elevate his stock even more. And I know we're through two practices, but um, from what it sounds like, he looks even better than maybe he was last year.
Oh yeah. I mean, really good. He's really intense. He's always intense. And he made a play against Mish Powell, the
Hmm.
new transfer DB out of Washington, who's like really highly rated. Powell is, and Restrepo. I can't believe he caught the ball. I mean, it was yesterday, and it was a bomb from Cam Ward, and it was kind of in the end zone. We were inside,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, Restrepo, you know how he contorts his
I think
body.
I think our friend Manny Navarro tweeted out the video for people who haven't seen it. That's if we're talking about the same catch.
Yeah, he kind of goes down. He kind of
Yeah.
goes in a like a shell. He puts himself in and you see his back. You don't see the ball at all, and you're like, "There's no way he can come up with the ball. Like, how does he see it? I don't. Do you understand? The ball kind of went
Yes.
over him. Like I don't get it. And then as usual, he dives on the ground or whatever he does, ends up on the ground, and he has the ball. He has the ball. And Powell was, I think, called, or it was pass interference. After all that, he still caught the ball.
Yeah.
It's he's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, that's I think the one question with him coming back is how could he be better? You know, he's an older guy, right? You do a lot of your improvement in the early years. He's definitely gotten like physical, he's become like I've compared him to sometimes like KJ Osborne, just like a physically, even though he's short, like a physically imposing
Well,
receiver.
he
Um,
really is.
in terms of his ability to block and his physicality and stuff like that. Um, I don't know if he's ever going to be like a burner, right? At this point in his career, like you kind of are what you are speed wise, but the ability to make acrobatic catches like that would be another dimension to add to his game. Not that he wasn't capable of doing that before, but um, that level of reliability where you can kind of he's not going to win jump balls or anything like that, but where you can throw him the ball and it doesn't need to be a perfect throw for him to catch it, or he doesn't need to be totally open for him to catch it. That's kind of the next level that he can maybe go to, and hopefully seeing signs of that already. When we were talking about the receivers, you mentioned two of the freshmen, Nikar and JoJo Trader.
Really good.
Zaquan Patterson is probably the other freshman who seems like he's kind of getting the most
Yes,
buzz out of this.
yeah,
Let's start with the two receivers. Trader seems like is
they look
gonna have a real chance to, I don't know, maybe be the
yeah,
number three receiver for the team because they got a lot of targets to go around beyond
right.
Strepo, basically. What has stood out about Trader and Carr through
Both.
these
I mean, they're
practices?
just catching passes.
Yeah, right.
They're catching them. They're jumping, leaping, doing whatever they have to do to get the ball, and they're good. You know,
Hmm.
uh, be as true freshmen. Um, they're contested balls. Like they're physical going against good DBs and stuff. So I think they're in good shape there. I mean, especially because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah, I mean
Makes all
that
the
fixes a
difference.
lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes all the difference. And then yeah. So they've looked very good. I mean,
Any of
and
those
the
other young receivers
well,
stand out at all? Ray Joseph, Robbie
yes,
Washington.
yes, right, yes. Bobby Washington had a nice catch, I think, from Puffenbarger,
Hmm.
um and Ray had a couple nice catches also yesterday. I think it was, unless it was the first day. No, I think it might have been yesterday. And yeah, Ray, two nice catches from Reese. Oh no, Robbie Washington, I'm sorry, caught a deep pass from Jakari Brown. Jakari Brown has actually been pretty accurate.
Hmm.
I mean,
Which he has
everything.
not always been in practice. Like I know you don't want to
No, no.
overreact to practice, but even in practice, that was a noticeable problem for him.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that was really one of his problems.
Yeah.
Underthrowing, overthrowing, throwing in the dirt, throwing hard, but no, you know, not really hitting the targets. He's looked actually pretty good. I
Hmm.
mean, it's a nice quarterback room. That's it's kind of exciting.
Hmm. I'm touched on Zaquan Patterson. Well, actually, one other guy I want to throw out,
Mhm.
um, just as we talk about freshmen, um, Elijah Lofton. He was the other guy who I remember when we talked on
Uh,
signing day. Anything from him yet? And the tight end spot's,
yes.
interesting. We've been waiting on Elijah Arroyo to break out. Just what have you seen there the first couple of days?
Yeah. I mean, Elijah Arroyo is all pumped. We talked to him, and and actually Shannon Dawson told us on Wednesday, he said, maybe you guys will stop asking me if I'm gonna target the tight ends at all, this year, because he said that he's awesome if he can stay healthy. And I
Yeah.
mean, Riley Williams,
Yeah, Riley Williams. Yep.
yeah, I mean, some of these kids are really young. He was a freshman last year. So he's good. Elijah, you said he caught some balls, so he looks okay. And who's the other one? The other tight end. Like there's one other one.
McCormick's been hurt, right?
Oh, McCormick. He talked about. Yeah, McCormick. Yeah, I mean McCormick. I think he kind of dropped a lot of balls. I don't know,
Yeah. He's
but
more of a blocking tight end.
he's a
That was
blocking. He's a blocking guy. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, you know what, the tight end thing. It's kind of like, again, I always say this. It's cliche, but it's true. I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So for me,
do.
honestly, I know people like get on Shannon Dawson about not using the tight ends. I said all last year. I think it was a personnel thing more than a
Yeah, I
scheme
think you're
thing. It was Arroyo was hurt, McCormick was ineffective. Um,
right.
Riley Williams and Jackson Carver were freshmen, and now McCormick has his place as a blocker, like we said. We'll see if Arroyo can stay healthy. We'll see if one of Riley Williams, Jackson, some of the younger guys can continue to improve. And now, Elijah Lofton's as good a tight end recruit as they've landed since. Well, I guess Jaleel Skinner was pretty, but I think he's probably the best tight end recruit they've brought in since Brevin Jordan. So, um, they've got more options there this year. We'll see if that means anything. The other freshman, as I mentioned, that I'm really intrigued by what he can do this year is Zaquan Patterson. One, because he's really good. Two, because they have such a big hole at safety. It seems like he's gonna have a real good chance to start for this team.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he was beat by one of those young receivers.
Uh-huh.
At practice. That doesn't mean
He's a
anything.
safety, and he's more of a
Yeah,
box safety.
yeah. I think yeah. Look, the safety spot. They lost James Williams. They lost Cam Kinchens. I think the DB. I think Mish Powell and Zaquan Patterson. He could win the starting job
Yeah,
with Mish Powell. Um, so I think cornerback is a really cornerback. We're gonna talk to the defensive coordinator Lance Guidry and ask him about that. I mean,
yeah.
that
He's a
seems
safeties guy too, as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. So he's obviously got a lot of insights on that position. Um,
yeah, exactly.
it's kind of on the defense now. The secondary is the question mark, right? Because they've really stabilized the linebacker spot. Obviously, as you mentioned, Kiko Maino is out for spring, but
Right.
once he gets back, between him, Wesley Bissainthe, pretty good foundation. The defensive line, Ruben Bay might be the best player on the team. They've got a bunch of other, Nigel Lee Kelly who's hurt right now, but they've got so many bodies but now on the defensive line, including a bunch of freshmen there. Any of those freshmen, have you noticed anything from them? I guess that should maybe be the last freshman thing we should talk about before I want to talk about the offensive
Oh,
line
well,
next, but
defensive.
I don't know how
Well,
much you're able to see right now.
yeah. I mean, the defensive line. Um, we've got. Um, let me see the first day. Bain, um, and Jared Harrison Hunt, and uh, there's some transfers there that are coming. Let me see, that are lining up, and there's the other new defensive end. Where's my? Let me look at this. Hold on a second. Um, let's see here. We've got Elijah Alston is was opposite Ruben Bain on the
Hmm.
first team, and then it was Thomas Gore, who's been playing inside, who did pretty well last year. He had some good games,
Yeah.
Thomas Gore, actually. So he's been playing inside with Jared Harrison Hunt. And then this guy, and Gore started ahead of the North Carolina State transfer, CJ Clark, who was, supposed to be a key part of the defensive tackle rotation. Once Leonard Taylor left and Branson Dean
Hmm.
left, who were both, well, although Leonard, I think he, I don't know. I don't think he did as great last season as
No, it wasn't his
I really
strongest
didn't.
year. Yeah.
I didn't think he had the whatever. And then Jaden Wayne and Anthony Campbell were the second team defensive ends in the opening day. I didn't notice the defensive. I mean, those were
I
the
guess only
line.
one of the freshmen is on campus right now, Marquise Light, but a lot of those guys are will be summer
Oh, well, yeah,
goalies. So
right,
um,
right, 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 right. Yeah, I didn't. I mean,
it's hard to. That's a position that we never. I mean, we
well,
never
they're
got
not
going.
going again. You have to understand
They're
something.
not going against anyone. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really see them going against the offensive line. That's a problem. Like we did, like Wednesday, for example, the offense is always a little easier to, if there's nobody going against them, at least we
Hmm.
can see, some passes,
Yeah.
and we can see the DBs going against them. Otherwise, we just see drills, and I don't know. I, it's easier we're all scouting out the offense, a lot of us
Yeah.
now.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
Um,
that's the story. Speaking of which, offensive line is another spot where they got to replace some guys. Um,
yes.
Center seems like it's going to be Zach Carpenter, the transfer from Indiana. Left guard spot,
Yes.
though, pretty much up for grabs. Samson Okunlola has been getting work there
Yes.
recently. That's the guy I've got my eye on because he was obviously a huge recruit, and it seemed like he was going to play last year before he got hurt. He was getting reps as a tight end, like a blocking extra offensive lineman. Same for Matthew McCoy, who's been getting some work at right tackle
Right
mostly.
tackle. Yep.
But yeah, that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested to
And he's
see.
he's getting Zach Carpenter. So Matt Lee, was really good for that team and very vocal, very very much a tough guy, vocal. And I'm not sure, from what I think Jalen, and I'm not sure if anybody else talked about him. He's not as, I don't think he's as vocal as Matt Lee.
Hmm.
He might be a little quieter. So I think they need a really assertive, somebody really. I just don't know about Zach Carpenter. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
good. I'm not sure he's like Matt Lee. We'll
Hmm.
see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Um,
But and then the other thing is,
no
remember,
Francis Mauigoa right now,
right?
which is
Francis
why
now,
McCoy's been getting reps at right
exactly.
tackle. So
Francis Noah is I think had shoulder, or he has some kind of surgery, as did his brother Kiko,
right.
the linebacker. So they're out for all of spring.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's probably smart. Let them
Yeah, let
get
him recover, and you
play.
get a lot looks at a lot of different guys now. So
Exactly. They know how good those guys are, So now you got Matthew McCoy at right tackle, but Matthew McCoy could go to left guard.
yeah, that
As
could
I
definitely be an
I
option.
don't know. And then they've been playing also, which the fans are kind of freaking out about, but Lou Cristobal
Yeah, at left
uh,
guard. He started
at
at
left.
center in the bowl game, struggled, but obviously a veteran. So Markel
Right.
Bell, have you noticed any? Have you?
Oh my God.
I'm just
Oh
curious what he
my
looks
God.
like.
He's a giant. Oh my God. Mario Cristobal was working with him one-on-one. And we're like, whoa, he makes Mario
And
look
Mario's
little.
a big guy. Yeah.
I know. He makes Mario look little. He's massive. I think he's listed as 6'8", and whatever he's listed at, he's going to be way bigger because I know Inez Cooper,
Yeah. Oh yeah. You talked to
the
him
right
yesterday, right?
guard.
Yeah.
We talked to him and he looks totally different. He shaved off his hair is like clean cut now.
Yep.
His beard is so weird. It was too hot. The long hair, but he got down to three. He was 350. He said, "This is a Nez," and now he's down to 335. He wants to get down to three.
And this is a guy who was 400 plus in high school, so pretty good
Right,
body transformation from him
pretty good.
in
Oh
the
yeah,
last 2 years. Yeah.
He wants to get down to 330. Yeah, he looks good. He looks really good, but he's big. He's massive. But this other guy, Markel Bell, oh my God. I honestly, he
I
sticks
can't wait to
out.
get out to a practice or something. Just I want to
Yeah,
see him in person.
he definitely sticks
He's
out.
he's one of the biggest linemen in the country, period. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see if he is a project or if he's a guy who can help them in some capacity right now. Because he's obviously a JUCO transfer, so he's got, he's an older guy. It's not like he's a freshman coming in.
I like
Um,
those JUCO transfers.
had some good
They've
success with
worked
them.
out. Yeah, they've always worked out.
Yeah. I mean, even Colby Young, I mean, had a good little run here before heading to Georgia. Like that was a nice find by them. Um, and Brian McKinney, obviously, probably the gold standard for that.
Of course, now he's at Georgia.
Yeah. All right, last topic before we got to wrap up. I'm at the Panthers game. Got to head up to the press box in a little bit here.
Ruben Bain.
Yeah, I
Ruben
want to ask you about
Bain.
Ruben Bain. You wrote about him this week. People should check out your story about him buying his mom a car. And
Oh,
a nice little portrait of Ruben Bain and like the quick rise to stardom he's had
oh my God,
over the
he's so
last
great.
year, but also he, kind of remains unchanged. As someone who knew him very well in high school, obviously you got to know him very well last year.
He's such a nice guy. Ruben Bain. I mean, how could you? I mean, as a mother, I just love that guy because he is so into family.
Yep,
David, he loves his mom. He loves his brother Reggie, who's by the way, a GA for the
yep,
UM offensive line. People don't know. He loves everybody, his sister and his father, whatever, the whole family, and they come to every single thing of his. So anyway, everything. So so Ruben bought his mom, and this is kind of an old story. He bought his mom in December, right before
hmm
Christmas, right after her birthday, a black, shiny, I put beautiful Escalade, okay, Cadillac Escalade, and it's really nice. And she's like a prison
yeah,
uh,
corrections officer.
corrections officer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in Miami. And so she came out and saw it and flipped out. I mean, there's a 14-minute video that he posted on his YouTube account. It's on my story, actually. And I've watched it already like 3 times, 14 minutes. And then I start crying when the mother sees. Anyway, it's so nice. He said, what shocked me was when he said, I think this is so funny. He said that was definitely special. That's something listen to this, every kid dreams about every day. That's probably their whole goal, the main reason why they work so hard, right? And I'm thinking, no, I don't think so, Ruben. I don't think everybody, that's their main goal, to get their mom. I mean, he has a big heart. He's
Yeah,
kind of
and
he's
it's a great family.
he's great family. He has stayed humble. Yes, I mean he stayed humble. Yeah, he thinks he's really good. He's very competitive. Do you know he's all academic ACC?
Yeah,
He's
it doesn't surprise me.
his mother told me that ever since he was 4 years old, he always wanted to be the first one to get grade A grades. Nobody thinks of him like that in the classroom. The first one to do whatever it is, he wanted to be first. So anyway, he also threw out. Did we talk about
No, we
this?
didn't. I was going to mention that. My favorite
Oh my
quote from your
God.
story is his pitch.
Oh my God.
Were you at the game where he threw the pitch?
Yes, I was. And that story got like a ton of page views, by the way. He
Uh-huh.
threw out the first pitch, and we had funny pictures of him. Oh
Yes.
my God. Threw out the first pitch like a week ago, a week and a half ago, whatever. Um, and it was hilarious. So he goes to throw the ball, they make the announcement, and it's at the Gators game. It's the Gators
Yeah, it
game.
was last Friday, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah, he throws the ball and it's like horrible, horrible, like really
Yeah,
high,
it's hard. I
real,
don't think he
it's
was a
hard,
baseball player.
really hard, really outside. It was one of the pitchers was catching for him, right? They had to leap so high and the ball hit the glove and went and went wild. It was a wild pitch. And then Ruben was smiling, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I asked him, so I wrote this story, very lighthearted, fun story, that thank God he's a football player. And then I
yeah.
said the pitch was a sizzling 48 miles an hour because they did
Oh, did they put it on? Yeah, that's not
yeah, they
bad.
put on 48 miles an hour. Anyway, I actually had a couple fans saying that how mean I was. How could I put him down or whatever? So anyway, I talked to him about it and he thought it was hilarious. So I talked to him about it and he said, this is about, he said that he loved, he said he wanted to thank the baseball team for letting him throw at the first pitch and he hopes they give him another chance. And I said, did you practice?
You
And he
have to
said,
practice.
no.
Everyone says you got to practice.
Yeah, he said that's why it looked like that. He said, listen, he says he conceded that he did not practice before the pitch. That's why I look like that. I feel like if I was warmed up a little bit, it would have looked a lot better and been on the dot. They're all saying that dot thing now. Okay, so then I asked the mother. The
Yeah,
whole
this is the best
family,
quote.
the whole family came to see Ruben throw a first pitch. This family came to Mark Light to watch their son throw a first pitch. And so they're like such a loyal family. So she said, I said, what'd you think of I wrote the funny story making fun of him, whatever. And she says, it was amazing to me. She said of the Aaron first pitch, that's my baby. Everything he does is amazing. The catcher should have jumped
That was the
higher.
great line.
That's the guy. That really is no funny. So,
Yeah.
and then anyway, for all these fans, she came to practice yesterday to give me a big hug. So I don't
There you
think the
go.
Bain family's upset about the story.
Yeah. All
Anyway,
right. That's a perfect place to wrap up. You should get
yeah.
everyone to check out that story and everything Susan has written from the first week of practice. You can get that all at miamiherald.com. You can follow me on Twitter at DBWilson2. You can
What's
follow
that
Susan.
behind you, David? What's that
I'm
behind you?
here at the Panthers game. George Richards, South Florida
Where's
media legend, is
G-Man?
sitting.
Oh, G-Man, say
He left. His
hello.
sweatshirt sitting over there. I don't know where he went.
Wow.
Um, you can follow Susan on Twitter at smiller Obviously, she will be out at practice all month.
Yeah, no, and the spring game.
Yeah, we didn't have time to get to the spring game. Maybe we'll
That's
talk about that as it gets a little closer and we get, I guess, more
well,
details. But
well, just know that it's at Cobb Stadium. I broke that
yeah,
story,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
it is at Cobb Stadium on campus. It's going to be very interesting.
Smaller, much an intimate environment, let's say.
Yeah, like Cobb Stadium seats 500. Okay,
Yeah,
and then I'm going to add bleachers, so they'll be lucky if there's 1,000 or 1,500. I don't know how they're going to fit. It's going to be but if you're a Hurricane Club member,
yep.
if you're
You
a
can get.
if you're a season ticket, if you're a
That's
season
the
ticket
key.
holder
Yeah,
who contributes as a Hurricane Club member, season ticket, you can get it. You have first dibs to get
yeah,
in, and they're letting in a limited number of students. It's probably going to be very limited.
yeah. Okay. Let's end things there. Thanks as always for listening. We'll talk to you guys next week.